Hey guys, economics is not math. I cannot stand movies. Can't stand movies. Hate watching them, hate sitting still. Not my jam. I've probably seen less than 100 movies in my life. And I know that's blasphemic to a lot of Americans to hear that, but it's true. I just don't like them. Probably this year I've probably seen 2 or 3 movies. And my wife has let me pick the last 2 movies we've watched, so God bless her soul, she's a saint. We watched the 1960s Zulu film with Michael Caine, and a few weeks ago we watched The Big Short with Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt. I actually really liked that film. It was really good. Some scenes you could do without, but overall, loved it. And the reason I liked it is it brought some very complicated economic systems, like some derivative markets and how these bonds are being packaged. It explained them well. Explained them in very simple terms, kind of like parables or allegories, or it's like this statements, which I just love. I think it is great storytelling to do that. But as it unfolded, there were things happening in that film that reminded me of a truth that I picked up a few years ago. And by the way, this is not how economics is taught in colleges. This is not how economics is taught from a lot of professors or big brain people. Economics is not math based. Economics is not rational. Economics is not a hard science. Economics is based on feelings, it's based on relationships, it's based on emotions, it's based on greed, it's based on fear, it's based on human behavior, it's based on erratic market occurrences, it's based on basically trust and belief, just more than about anything else. It's a very fuzzy thing. Economics is fuzzy, and you never know the actors that are going to get involved or not involved in a certain project. And I'll say there's a lot of things I'm concerned about on kind of our macroeconomic level in the U.S. I won't get into that here, but it did remind me of the relationship side of economics. This is not my story. I picked this up when I was in the Special Warfare Rural Engagement and Mapping course. Basically, special operations guys, how do they go and start making networks with farmers and folks that live in rural areas to set up guerrilla forces or auxiliaries or supports for unconventional warfare. And one of the stories that was told by one of the instructors, and I love this story, I think it's important, I think it's something that we miss on economics, is there was an Iraqi fish farmer. So like commercial, like has built giant stock tanks, and he's providing fish. I don't know why. I wouldn't think Iraq would be a big fish place, but it is. And a civil affairs team, because they were trying to get in good with this fish farmer, provided him some sort of like implement that would help him harvest fish, versus having to employ like these 30 guys with nets that would go out into these tanks and try to scoop it out. It was very inefficient. It was not an effective means of doing it. And the team came back a few weeks later to kind of check on how he's liking this new equipment, and he hasn't been used at all. Has not been used at all. And the team was inquiring, hey, why haven't you started implementing this machine to help you harvest your fish out of your tanks? And he looked out at the field of stock tanks and he said, those 30 men out there would be out of a job if I started implementing this system. Would you have me do that? And on that relationship side of economics, I think we miss that a lot in the U.S. I think we would think, hey, we need to be efficient, we need to be effective, we need to cut the waste. But that Iraqi farmer had, I think, a much more biblical understanding of what economics are. It's to bless other people. And in terms of power, because he refused to fire those 30 men, guess what? He had 30 young men, strong men with families that were loyal to him. and he held power over them because he employed them, and he chose to go ahead and support them over making his business more efficient. And in terms of the counterinsurgency game, hey, if that team, by providing that equipment, could have just put 30 more people out of a job and kind of fed into the insurgency narrative, into their propaganda. Hey, the Americans came in, brought this machine in, took your jobs, and sorry, sucks to be you. So I think we need to think a little bit more about economics in terms of relationships, and in terms of supporting one another versus just, it's math, sorry, this is the way of the future, because I think we're going to create some dangerous situations if we are unable to understand that economics is human. It's not paper-based, it's not ledger-based. So on that, I'll shut up. You guys have a good week.